and here I am giving your hand. The moment that I knew would come, but that deep down, I was never ready to let go. As I walk with you to the altar, I can't stop my mind from traveling back in time. I still see you as that tiny baby I once held in my arms for the first time. I thought those nights washing mamilas would last forever. Now they only live in my memory. And in every corner of my heart, I once played football. But when I saw that hickey fly, I knew that was my Super Bowl. There is no manual to become a daddy, only secret techniques. Sometimes it is a hug, and a Metallica song hummed with the heart. I never thought I would end up singing children's songs in front of the TV, but it did make you smile. Then it was the best concert of my life. I remember those first times, fighting with the car chair, looking for each anchor, each tape, because there was nothing more important to know that you were safe, and it was worth every attempt. Who knew filling a simple inflatable pool would be a challenge? Whole afternoons filling it with water everywhere. And yes, a good hose drink included. But it was enough to see you laughing there through bubbles, to understand that everything was worth it. I taught you that darkness was not an enemy, just a space where the stars can also shine, and that my arms would always be your light. And how can we forget that afternoon when we went to a soccer stadium? The scoreboard did not matter. What mattered was having you by my side, sharing laughter, emotions, and a memory that stayed in my heart with every pass, every run, every touchdown. I discovered that the real game was played at home, with you in my arms, creating memories that no marker will be able to erase. Sunday at home, 3 different breakfasts, the dogs waiting for theirs, and an improvised chef trying to get everything out in record time. Gourmet is not always made with love. For life, you know. I always carried a first aid kit just in case. And that day you fell. I felt like the most important doctor in the world. But more than bandages, it was the embrace that really healed us. At every stop we passed quickly in the car to get to school on time. I didn't really see bumps in the road. I saw leaps of happiness, and your smile illuminated every morning. Afternoons of ours with Xbox controller in hand, you screaming excitedly, me trying to keep up with you. And in the end, understanding that what we were really playing at was to make the best equipment. There was no scenario, large or small, where I would not be in the front row, clapping with the heart, because seeing you shine dancing has always been my greatest pride. I am your #1 fan forever. Every way out of the house was my own mission. Impossible mom-daughter. Dogs, but see them already. And smiling before closing the door was always the best award. Today I toured the world with the most beautiful weight on my shoulders. Even though the legs hurt, the heart was always light. Listening to your laughter in every corner of the planet, I was never a great magician, but all it took was one simple trick to see in your little eyes the most real magic that exists. Imitating mom's voice didn't just make you and me laugh, also gave us a moment of complicit happiness, where I found out how close you are to my mood, and how to forget the videos we used to watch of eternal laughter with people to whom it happened, funny situations, or our general knowledge videos in 5 minutes, or those days where I don't know if I won the water gun war or the best strategy for that squadron. But what I did win was the best memory of those hot days at home, or those days between skates and laughter, when you gave me the best gift of watching you grow a little bigger. By my side, we learned together that some of us, bugs do not bother people. We checked which were the dangerous ones, and which did not have to be destroyed. Every time you yelled at me to kill a spider, I felt like the best superhero of all time. My arms were your wings, and even though we only went from one part of the house to another, for me, every step with you, it was a journey I wish would never end. Or that day when you not only won a roller coaster, but you learned to overcome your own fears. You and me by your side, with a heart full of pride. I learned that sometimes the greatest thing I can teach you is to trust yourself. We did not always watch the complete movies. What I do know is that I survived several family crushes, full of love and even bitchy paws. and that I would repeat that hug 1,000 more times. I taught you how to ride a bike. But you taught me that sometimes letting go is the greatest act of love. Of course, until you were sure. It didn't matter how many times the ball went into the hoop. But how many times did you try it with a fly? And while I was teaching you how to play basketball, and I passed, you reminded me of the true meaning of the game. Enjoy every attempt. Technical Advice Fridays were not just days without classes. Were cooking days, of small hands beating the mixture, of laughter in the kitchen, and that smell of Japanese cheesecake that perfumed the whole house. I taught you how to stand on your hands. And without realizing it, you also learned that sometimes you have to see the world upside down to find the balance. Yes, I was holding you then, but today I know you can stand on your own. Afternoons of 1,000 letters, 1,000 laughs, 1,000... You get it again, Dad. And even though I sometimes suspect you were cheating with that smile, me happy to lose again and again, and race and multiple other races, more kilometers of effort. But the greatest pride was watching you push your own limits. I taught you how to take the first step. You taught me never to give up. That day, I think I gave you more advice than a survival manual. And you with that smile of already, Dad. I know today I saw you coming into your first teenage party, alone and in the background. The real lesson was for me, learn to let yourself fly a little more. Relying on the bases that your mom and we'd already given you since you were a child. That day I not only taught you how to bandage a wound or I taught you that in difficult times. The most valuable thing is to be calm, heart and willingness to help. And while watching you learn, I learned that the world is a little safer with people like you. The day your heart was first broken, I did not know how to repair it. But I did know how to hug you tight and listen to you with my soul. Because sometimes a dad can't avoid the pain, can only promise that you will never face it alone. First driving lessons. Brake softly, look at the shoulders, and above all, do not kill your dad with a scare. But in the end, daughter, you did great, and I learned that I could also release the brake of patience. Today I taught you how to plan your first trip alone, to choose routes, to take care of details, to trust your instinct. And even though my advice filled your notebook, the most important thing was to teach you that the real journey begins with the courage to take the first step. I taught you how to breathe, to look at the public. But the most important advice was the one I whispered before you got on stage. Believe in everything you are today. That project would make you scream, but your authenticity would make you unforgettable. Between Post-its, agendas, and 1,000 reminders, I taught you that the perfect time formula does not exist. But there is knowing when to say yes to work, when to say yes to friends, and when to say yes to a day of total rest. And in that, daughter, you are already an expert. Always put your attention on your present. When I taught you how to negotiate, we start with the classic, how many screen hours per studio hours? But little by little, you learned that a good deal is one where everyone smiles. In the end, and how to forget those days. Between checking the battery and teaching you not to ignore rare noises of your first vehicle, the only thing I couldn't teach you was how it happened, to give it 1,000 decorations and give it a name. But that, daughter, was all yours. I taught you how to look beyond the walls and square meters, to look for a place where your life could flourish. Because a home is not measured by price, but for the dreams that will grow inside him. And here I am today, handing you over at the altar to start building your own family. But I do it with the firm conviction that I will always be your father, and that every time you need me, I will be there for the rest of my life. And although today you begin a new path, I am anxious to continue creating memories and adventures, unforgettable with you. Because a father's love knows no goodbyes, only new chapters. I love you. Being a dad is a lifelong journey. Enjoy it. Leaves indelible positive traces. Be a guide. Be an example. With security and protection. Believe me, in the end, it will all be worth it.